A family finally has some closure after the body of a beloved mother is identified almost 4 decades after her disappearance. The murder victim, a Jane Doe for 37 years, was Claudette Powers, and authorities say the California cold case was cracked thanks to a family DNA match after all these years.
The fact that she'd been dead since 1986 was a huge shock to them.
It was 2 years before that, the last time her family saw Claudette, when she was in her early 20s.
Caused a lot of turmoil with them. I mean, that's now one mystery just turned into a bigger one.
Powers' daughters, who were toddlers at the time of her disappearance, previously believed their mother had abandoned them, according to NBC San Diego.
She loved her kids very much.
Claudette's sister Laura finally able to lay her sister to rest, discussing their mother's relief.
My mom can pass on now when it comes time, knowing that her oldest child has been found.
But mystery remains. The killer still unidentified.
We have to reconstruct her life from back in the 80s. Where she worked, where she lived, who her friends were. You know, did she date anybody?
An unknown male victim was found dead around the same time as Claudette, according to authorities, about 14 miles away at a remote campsite. The sheriff's office telling NBC San Diego that the two were dressed similarly, so it's possible they had been together at the time of their deaths.
If you are still alive and you knew my sister and you knew what happened to her, please come forward, please.
Authorities hoping the technology used to identify Claudette might be the first step in finding her killer, too. DNA from a sample of Claudette's hair was cross-referenced with publicly searchable genealogy websites. Then detectives used census records and obituaries to build family trees, ultimately leading them to Claudette's immediate family.
People put their DNA in. That's the only way we're going to be able to solve these cases.
The San Diego County Sheriff's Office saying it's the 7th time the homicide unit has used genetic genealogy to identify remains in an unsolved case. With this major break, authorities offering up to $1,000 in reward money for information that leads to an arrest.